Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Chris Maloney back with you for another edition of CWN Weekly, episode number 42, coming to you live on Saturday afternoon, I almost said July, June 5th, 2021, and it's a hot one here in London, Ontario. Today it's humid, borderline muggy. Muggy is a term I use from the East Coast. I'm sure people here in Ontario use that as well, but it's kind of like the sweaty kind of feel to it, almost like you're at the gym. But without the bad smell. So anyways, yeah, that is that. But happy Pride Month, everybody. So June 1st started Pride Month here in Ontario as around the world as well. And take this time to wish everybody a happy Pride Month there. And as always, what I do is go through anniversaries and birthdays. So I'm going to do that right here. Not too many. And this is going all the way through to June 10th, but there's only two. So on the 7th, which is Monday, John Earthquake Tenta passed away in 2006 due to bladder cancer at the young age of 42 years old. So, I mean, anybody familiar with John Tenta knows all the characters that he went through, but 42 years old, one of the nicest men in the business from stories that I've heard. But bladder cancer back in 2006. So rest in peace there to John Earthquake Tenta. And then on the 9th, Kenny Omega defeated Kazuchika Okada to win the IWGP Heavyweight Championship in Osaka, Japan. That was back in 2018. The only IWGP Heavyweight Championship that Kenny Omega held, but he did hold that title for 209 days, so the better part of it, half a year, and he ended up losing the title to Hiroshi Tanahashi to end his reign there. But two anniversaries, one good, one bad. And, we'll get into more birthdays and everything else next week for episode number 43. But in saying that, I celebrated a birthday this week. I'm 45 now. And my daughter, my toddler there, celebrated her birthday yesterday. We're only 2 days apart, which is kind of cool. But she is now 3 years old. And Miss Attitude, as I want to start calling her. But a lot of excitement going on for her this weekend. Originally, I wasn't going to do the show today, based on the fact, one, it's gorgeous outside, and number two is the fact is she's got birthday things going on all weekend long. Unfortunately, I had to miss today due to the fact a little bit of an injury going on earlier in the week. Being old, so to speak, 45. I'm not afraid to admit I have arthritis, and sometimes it acts up more so than not at times. So, sometimes I just have to take it easy and, celebrate with her yesterday, obviously, for her actual birthday, celebrating with her tomorrow as well. But today I just took a break. Hence the fact CWN Weekly episode 42 is coming to you live right now. I was going to do it after doing what we had planned today. Around 8 o'clock tonight. But I was like, I had the opportunity to do it early afternoon, and so I can get more stuff done. So that is the story there. Big news this week. But before I do that, I want to get into the death of, and I wasn't too familiar with this guy at all. Bob Biladeau dies of COVID, and that was posted by Greg Oliver, Slam Wrestling, May 29th. So courtesy slamwrestling.net. This is every wrestling journey begins somewhere, and for Bob Biladeau, who died Friday at the age of 64. This article is May 29th, by the way. It started in a carpet warehouse. Biladeau was one of the class of 1982, trained in Mississauga, Ontario, Livingston Carpet and Flooring Building under the tutelage of Phil Watson, a.k.a. Whipper Watson Jr., and Big Mac Mervyn McKay. I want to say Mackay. The others that were in the graduating class were Dan Marsh, who later wrestled as Danny Littlewolf, and Doug Ramsey, who became Jetstar. They all had replied to an advertisement in the newspaper. It was back in Bernie Livingston's carpet warehouse, and we used to train every Saturday and Sunday, recalled Marsh, after learning of Biladeau's death from COVID-19 at St. Catharines General Hospital. Marsh noted that Biladeau, born April 21st, 1957 in North Bay, Ontario, one of 6 children, was built like a tank. Hence, that was his nickname and occasionally wrestling name going forward. So if you go to slamwrestling.net, you'll be able to find the article there. I don't think it's on cwnonline.ca yet, but thoughts and prayers with his family, obviously. Greg Oliver, who has been a guest on CWN Interview, the second interview I had done, I just a lot of respect for Greg Oliver, always have, always will, and everything that he's done with Slam Wrestling, of course. But I asked him one of the questions, if it was tough, to writing obituaries. And Greg says it's a lot of the times he has the facts, everything else. It's tough watching them pass away, so to speak, knowing that they had some kind of stay in the wrestling business as it is. But thoughts and prayers are with Bob Biladeau and his family, friends, and fans, of course, there. One more death to report. And I'm going to go through this first. Just to read you the article with regards to this before I tackle the bigger news of the week. And when I say bigger news, I'm not downplaying the fact that we had stars pass away. It was basically everything that everybody was talking about on Wednesday of last week. But this relates to Lucha Libre Exotico star Pasion Kristal drowns. And I apologize for getting that wrong. Pasion Kristal, I think, was his name, drowns. Wrestling World has lost a groundbreaking and memorable Lucha Libre Exotico star. It was reported 45-year-old Pasion Kristal drowned while swimming on the beach in Acapulco in the state of Guerrero on June 2nd, 2021. So same day as the big news there. Some sources reported that Pasion's body has been recovered by authorities, though not confirmed. It says Kristal broke into pro wrestling for AAA in 1994 and worked as part of the Los Exoticos stable with Pimpinella, Escalada, and Cassandro. Kristal was also a regular in IWRG in Mexico in recent years. It was also said Pasion wrestled as different wrestling ring names such as Nemesis 2000 and Orquídea Salem. And then it says 2012, Pasion established Lucha Promotion LLES and began to promote shows. Notable title that Pasion held was the Gulf Coast Middleweight Championship. Pasion had always dealt with adversity, but was always a survivor. Pro wrestling community mourns the loss. So you can check that out there, guys. More information, slamwrestling.net. Obviously, you think about drownings, Shad Gaspard comes up. That's related to the article as well. There's thoughts and prayers that were put out by the one and only Taya Valkyrie, Frankie Monet, with regards to the passing of Pasion Kristal. I want to say pronounce that right. It's a unique spelling. Pasion is the first name there. But thoughts and prayers, family, friends, and fans as well. But it's tough, especially when you hear about somebody drowning and only being 45 years old. Reminds me tremendously of Shad Gaspard there. So guys, from there we go into the big news I was talking about of the week. Braun Strowman, Aleister Black, Lana, and other superstars released. June 2nd was the date. WWE has come to the terms of the releases of Braun Strowman, Aleister Black, Lana Murphy, Ruby Riott, and Santana Garrett. WWE wishes them the best in all of their future endeavors. It's interesting because it's not over yet, so to speak. So you remember back Samoa Joe, you had the Iconics getting released, and all of a sudden now you get big names like Braun Strowman, Aleister Black, Ruby Riott getting released, and apparently the cuts aren't over with. And that's only on the wrestler side of things. There's been a lot of names released as far as some guys like Tom Phillips. Adnan, I think Verk never did get his first name properly. But it's tough because as wrestling fans, so to speak, it's unique with regards to, we see them as storyline characters, but, we don't necessarily think of them losing their jobs. It's you get, enthralled, so to speak, with the character that you see on TV. And the next thing you know, all of a sudden, it's kind of like, when you see their peers, so to speak, talking about them losing their jobs. Hence the fact last week I was talking about what Kathy Kelly had written. And, it's tough. And then you think to yourself, whether or not they're going to go into different avenues as far as their lives go, like, acting or strongman competitions, continue to wrestle, this and that. And I'll get more into that throughout the show here because there was some big news that came about last night. But Braun Strowman surprised me. I was like, man, am I reading this right? Murphy hadn't been used. Lana, obviously, Aleister Black was surprising as well. So Ruby Riott and then the Santana Garrett. So it's interesting. And what's even more interesting is the fact is apparently WWE is not done cutting people. So that is sad news. And it's interesting to see who AEW, Impact, NWA, ROH, MLW all pick up, but it's the wrestling business for you, and it's sometimes tough. From there, guys, I'm going to go into some statements here. So both courtesy of postwrestling.com. Hours after his release, Aleister Black speaks on his time at WWE. Just hours after the news at his release, former Aleister Black spoke on Twitch, reacting to the news and reflecting on his time in the company. Black started off the stream noting, "I'm not sad, I'm not depressed, but acknowledged he will probably have some bad days, but felt positive about his overall tenure. Reason he was given was budget cuts, but said he doesn't know if that was the real reason or not. Black was excited about the Dark Father character with the Big E feud set to begin this Friday on SmackDown, which would have been yesterday. He noted that Paul Heyman had pushed hard and fought tooth and nail for him during his time there. So obviously, a lot of stories, a lot of rumors with regards to Paul Heyman and who his crew were. And you can kind of tell when he was in charge, who was getting pushed, and when he wasn't in charge, who was not getting pushed anymore. Aleister Black was part of that crew. I think Ricochet was part of that crew as well. But I think Aleister Black's going to do fine. A lot of people coming out and, saying they can't wait to get into another match with him, so to speak. Obviously, his character, Tommy End, is who's going to be going forward. And obviously, he's married to Zelina Vega, Taya Trinidad. With regards to those two, it's going to be interesting because of what happened last night on AEW. So it's interesting world, I tell you that. And then there's some rumors with regards to Charlotte going on as well. So when I bring up Charlotte, it's because of the fact when you think Aleister Black, you always think Zelina Vega. You think Zelina Vega, you always think of Andrade. And we think of Andrade, you always think of Charlotte Flair. So those four there. 3 of them now no longer with the WWE. One is, but there's rumors, on. It's the internet. It's rumor central, so to speak. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. And then as well, Ruby Riott had made a statement as well. So guys, I'm just going to bring that up here. It says Ruby Riott opens up about her release in the WB. So this took place June 3rd, again, courtesy of postwrestling.com. And this was the day after her release. So on Wednesday, WB confirmed that Braun Strowman, Aleister Black, Murphy, Ruby Riott, Lana, and Santana Garrett were released from the company. Thus far, all 6 talents have publicly made a comment or gone into detail about the departures, and the latest to do so was Ruby Riott. She took to her Instagram page, and then this is what she had to say. "Well, here it goes. Never been good at this sort of stuff. Yesterday, in a matter of minutes, my life changed very drastically. But after some tears, some panic, and a full box of Oreos, I was able to look back at how lucky I've been to accomplish what I have." And the article goes from there. At the very end, she goes, "In the beginning, Heidi Lovelace was given to me. At the end, Ruby Riott was taken away. So I don't know what I'll be called or where I'll end up. But please know this is far from over. Thank you." And then Tom Phillips also spoke about his release as well. So you can check that out, postwrestling.com. But it's a lot of news coming in on these cuts. And one of the big things is with regards to the rumor has the WWE being up for sale. And it was Sean Ross Sapp, SRS of Fightful, who was, basically had said that a lot of times the only reason this sort of stuff makes sense when you're cutting contracts like Aleister Black, when you're cutting contracts like Braun Strowman, is because they're getting ready to sell the company. Well, whether or not that happens remains to be seen. WWE is not going to come out and say it. But the rumor has it, if it were to happen, and this comes from a few different journalists who've been in the business for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, is that the WWE, if they're going to be sold to anybody at all, it's going to be NBC Universal. Hence the fact SummerSlam's announcement is coming up later today on NBC. Hence the fact when I was a kid, I was watching Saturday Night's Main Event. Where was I watching Saturday Night's Main Event on? NBC. They have had a huge relationship, and I'm 45 years old since I was a kid, And plus, you add the fact the XFL in the original airing of it was on NBC as well. There's a lot of back and forth. And since Nick Khan has taken over, WB has transformed. Good and bad, I will say that. But fact is, he's getting things done. They look to be going a new direction. And because of that, it's interesting to see where they're going to end up. And it's going to be interesting to see whether or not these rumors of WB going up for sale, whether or not it happens this year, next year, whatever the case may be, it's going to be interesting. So it's just a matter of time to wait and see. It's 2022 next year, and I never thought in 2020 I'd deal with some kind of pandemic, and so anything is possible, I guess, as they say. Speaking of that, AEW All Out announced for September 5th in Chicago. Looks to be in front of fans, so it looks like Chicago is running again, which is very, very cool. AEW officially announces full gear for November 6th in St. Louis, so another city there, looking to open up with fans. And then AEW Double or Nothing 2021 results. It's been a busy week. I didn't have the time to do the recap show. I didn't have the time to watch the full pay-per-view as of yet. I watched, I think, maybe 3/4 of it. Still missing the last 2 matches. I've got to go back and watch. But in saying that, I will say this as far as CWN goes. I love doing the prediction shows because it's my thoughts. It's original content. I love doing weekly because it's my thoughts on the news that are taking place during the week. But the recap shows may be few and far between in the next little while, just because of the fact, I mean, COVID's officially, exiting. I am back to work full time. It's the timing, and I'm not getting, I'm not getting any younger. I tell you that much there. But I will do my best to do the prediction shows. I will do my best, obviously, to do weekly shows. It may not be a Saturday, it may not be a Friday. It might be like a Tuesday every now and then, just depending on my work schedule, because it's all over the place. But as far as the recap shows go, I get the ability on weekly to talk about the event itself. So, it's, I know NWA is coming up tomorrow. I know I'm doing a prediction show for that for sure. But as far as the recap show, if I get the time to be able to do it, I'll do it. So you'll be seeing the same continuance of CWN Weekly. You'll be seeing the same continuance of CWN Predicts. But as far as CWN Recap goes, it may only be for the bigger shows. I know AEW All Out was a big show. It was just a busy week. But the biggest news coming out of that there, Mark Henry is now officially with AEW. You've got the Stadium Stampede match, the Inner Circle, looks strong in that one. You've got Kenny Omega retaining, Miro retaining, the Young Bucks retaining, and it looks great for AEW going into the summer. I tell you that much there. So, but the results, the recap, probably will not happen. I think I've only missed maybe 3, potentially 4 this year, and it's not too bad considering the fact that parent and husband and full-time job and wrestling is like pretty much 24/7 on TV. So I'm not doing too bad. But if you see the recap missing, it just means I didn't have the time to do it. But that being said, the Scottish Warriors coming for the almighty WB Hell in a Cell 2021 that was made official this past Monday. So you got Drew McIntyre taking on Bobby Lashley. The interesting thing about this here, I'm going to say this, is the fact is you've got no Hell in the Cell matches taking place as of yet. So you've got, I think, 2 matches officially set up. I think, no, 3, because I think Charlotte's facing Ruby Riott. And then they made a match official last night between Bianca Belair and Bayley. So championship with regards to Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley as well. But they haven't posted Hell in a Cell matches at all. And I was noticing that. I was looking for that last night too when I was watching SmackDown. And they didn't say anything at all about Hell in a Cell match. I don't think they've mentioned anything about Charlotte and Rhea. And I know they haven't mentioned anything with regards to Drew as well as Bobby Lashley, because I read the article on WWE.com yesterday. So it's interesting. It's is it a toss-up? I'm not sure where they're going with it yet. To make sense to keep outside interference away, so to speak, but it's like, how do you do it? Because you got really nobody attacking McIntyre, I don't believe, at this point. I haven't watched Raw as much as I used to, just because I got sick and tired of the commentary, same old storylines. But I might have to. I mean, I gave Jimmy Smith a chance this past Monday. Charlotte and Asuka, there's really not anybody really interfering in that there. And then you got Bayley and Sasha, not Sasha, but Bayley and Bianca. And Sasha Banks is nowhere to be found. Carmella's doing her own thing as well. So it'll be interesting to see what they're going to make into Hell in a Cell matches. Rhea versus Charlotte, I wouldn't mind seeing. Charlotte's been in a couple of them, and man, she's but Bianca versus Bayley as well. That would be something to see as well, because Bayley looked strong in her match against Sasha. And Drew, Bobby Lashley, I mean, they've done matches just one-on-one continuously for more than one promotion, so that would be cool as well to see them go up. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. Gear Up for SummerSlam to Bring the Fire is a promo right now up on YouTube that was released on the 1st. Like I said, SummerSlam location to be announced later this afternoon at the 2021 Belmont Stakes pre-show race on NBC. Looks like it's taking place at 5 p.m. as far as coverage goes. But the rumor has it, and I think I mentioned this last week, Las Vegas. And apparently Asuka, there was something to do with social media, and she was at Allegiant Stadium in Paradise, Nevada, Las Vegas, Nevada. And that is the home of the Las Vegas Raiders. And, I can tell you this. As far as McMahon goes, Vince McMahon, he loves going to the new arenas. He loves being one of the first people to go to new arenas, big and small at that. Here in London, John Labatt Center opened way back in the day. It's now called Budweiser Gardens, but the fact is, when it comes down to it, one of the first events that took place at John Labatt Center was a SmackDown show, and I got to see Edge taking on Brock Lesnar. I got to see John Cena before he was real John Cena. I think he was teamed with Shelton Benjamin, but it was a pretty cool event, and I had great seats as well. But with that being said, Las Vegas is a hotbed right now as far as UFC MMA goes. You've got hockey taking place there. You got, football taking place there as well. And if they're going to come out of COVID, they're going to start putting on big events again. And, WrestleMania, they only could do so many people. And all of a sudden now you have the casinos open there in Vegas. And, obviously Dana White running amok. Amok is it? I think it was from a Disney Halloween movie or something like that. But anyways, what this case is, McMahon is going to make the most of it, especially he's going to make his SummerSlam this year, WrestleMania. And, with that being said, I can easily see him going to Vegas. But like I said, beyond the rambling, I'm only halfway through the show and I'm already rambling. But I can see Vegas easily being announced this afternoon there. Report, Awesome Kong, Shanna's AEW's contracts not renewed. That was put out there by multiple sources. Karrion Kross to put title on the line against all four, against four of NXT's elite. So this is all courtesy of NXT this past Tuesday. So Kross is taking on Pete Dunne, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, as well as Johnny Gargano in a fatal five-way. Then we got Cameron Grimes taking on LA Knight for the legacy of the $1 Million Man on the line there. I don't know if they're going to bring back the championship. That would be cool. I haven't heard that announced yet. Ember Moon taking on Raquel Gonzalez for the title on the line in that one. And then we've got Xia Li taking on Mercedes Martinez. And with the cuts, I kind of worry about Mercedes Martinez there. But the article title was, Will Xia Li make good on her promise to purge Mercedes Martinez? So that'll be interesting there. But that's NXT TakeOver In Your House 2021, taking place June 13th, 8 p.m., Peacock and WB Network. And we will be doing a prediction show next week. I might see if I can get a guest for that one, because NXT is always cool to talk about there. Cool to talk about as well. Bret Hart, Tyson Kidd, The Way, and more celebrate Tag Team Week. WB's The Bump. I can tell you this. One of the coolest things about being a wrestling fan is you're friends with some of these guys on Facebook. Tyson Kidd, TJ Wilson is one of those guys who wishes me a happy birthday, private message based, every single year. I think he's only missed 1 or 2 years, but every June 2nd on my birthday, I always get a message from TJ Wilson, Tyson Kidd. So pretty damn cool. It's I love the guy, and support Workhorse Fitness, by the way, there, guys. Rated-RKO claim number 40 spot on the WWE's 50 Greatest Tag Team Sneak Peek. I have no clue. They said it was Tag Team Week, and I have not seen that on the WWE Network as far as the 50 Greatest Tag Teams. I know they've got, I think, goes 50 to 35, I think I PVR'd. But I don't know if they're doing it the month long or whatever the case may be. Guys, if you're listening, watching to this, thank you. But fill me in. Let me know what they're going on with Tag Team Week there and the 50 Greatest Tag Teams. AEW Unrestricted this week was Sandra Gray. She is the seamstress for AEW. She talks about wardrobe malfunction, some of the greatest costumes she's created and stuff like that as well. BJPW cancels 5 shows. Yuki Ishikawa tests positive for COVID-19. I'm a huge New Japan Pro Wrestling mark. I will tell you that, and I will say that until the day I die. But as far as the other promotions there in Japan, I'm interested, but the coverage I've never been able to get a hold of. And the one cool thing about New Japan Pro Wrestling, they make it English content based as well. I'm not sure about Big Japan. I'm not sure about All Japan, but I know New Japan, like I fall in love with it because I can get English commentary sometimes. But then you'll see my wife, true story, will come into a room, especially Wrestle Kingdom time, and she'll be seeing me watch the main events and with Japanese commentary behind it. She's like, "What are you doing?" It's just, to me, it's more legit. So some of the lesser matches, so to speak, I'll watch an English commentary, but the main events, I love to listen to that Japanese commentary going with it. But and maybe I should give Big Japan a chance. Maybe, guys, if you're listening, Big Japan, All Japan, what's better? And then when I was, back 10, 15 years ago, I want to say, I was Pro Wrestling Noah, Naomichi Food. Oh my God, I'm gonna. I'm upset with myself right now for Mary Fuji. Naomichi Marufuji, yes, I was a huge fan of him back in the day. And then when he came to Impact Wrestling a couple of years ago, see, that's what happens. The old age kicks in. You don't follow product, you end up forgetting some of the names. But anyways, that being said, I'm done rambling. Ongoing state of emergency in certain areas of Japan has led to numerous companies and promotions making adjustments to the card on postponing shows due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Big Japan Pro Wrestling, which is known for focusing on a deathmatch style of wrestling, has canceled their next events. Their shows on June 5th, 6th, 10th, 12th, and 13th have been canceled to prevent the spread of the virus. It's noted on the Big Japan website that they're currently working on rescheduling the events. Yuki Ishikawa, who is a part of Big Japan, tested positive for COVID-19, is currently receiving medical treatment at his home. Ishikawa last wrestled at Big Japan Pro Wrestling's May 22nd show against Daichi Hashimoto. So that is big news from them. Obviously, it's taking effect all over there. Still feel bad for the Tokyo Olympics. As far as I know, it's still taking place, but trying to make money off the Olympics, I don't think is going to happen. And that comes from my wife, who's a teacher. So it's interesting. I was talking to my dad yesterday, and he's in New Brunswick, and I'm in Ontario. And here in Ontario, we June 14th can open retail back up again. But things like the mall, unless you have a storefront entrance, you can't do it. And I was talking to him yesterday, and it's like I'm talking to him, and he's talking about how I said, Dad, if you want to go to the mall right now, could you go? He goes, yes. And he goes, there's a limited indoor dining taking place, and they're like 3% away from green category, which means more indoor dining. I'm thinking to myself, man, we're here in Ontario, 2 provinces away, and we can't even, I can't even go to a food court in a mall right now, And then I think about what's going on in Japan there, and they, Wrestle Kingdom ran this year, and anyways, it's almost back and forth, and it's tough sometimes too. It's like, you see my hat, Boston Red Sox fan, Fenway Park sellouts, you know what I mean? Vegas, they're talking about SummerSlam in August, and hockey taking place, and everything else, and it's a unique time, and it's, we'll have 1 month where all of a sudden a province, a country will be great and looking like they're headed the right direction, and the very next month they're going through emergency lockdown again. So it's tough. My thoughts and prayers are with those guys in Japan. Obviously it's perseverance, and we're all going to get through this, but it's just a matter of when. And it's tough because you're in one part of the world where you're getting better, but then you see another part of the world suffering, and it's exhausting sometimes, but patience and perseverance. Tom Phillips was surprised as he was replaced on WWE Raw. Talks Adnan Virk replacing him. That was on the 3rd. So check that out on Post Wrestling. Chelsea Green reveals reality show talks with fiance Matt Cardona. That was on the 3rd as well, courtesy of Metro UK. There's an interview up there, and she basically, the summary is she's doing everything else. Why wouldn't they talk about doing a reality show? That'd be interesting there, especially with Cardona's, affection, so to speak, towards wrestling figures and the podcast and everything else. So it'd be interesting to see the real side of Matt Cardona there. And so I was just thinking he's friends with The Miz, so you'd have the Maurice on there as well. Britt Baker, I think, is part of that crew as well. Deonna Purrazzo as well. So it'd be interesting to see. It's a lot of different wrestling promotion being involved as well. Muertes signs multi-year deal with MLW. That's huge for them. So that was on the 3rd as well. Winnipeggers episode number 46 Pro Wrestling. That was on the 3rd as well. Haven't seen it. I'll eventually start catching back up with the Winnipeggers. It's funny because when I thought I was going on Saturday night tonight, with regards to CWN Weekly, I was thinking to myself, back in the day when I was, COVID first broke out, Jericho was doing his Saturday night series there, and I wish I could play the music, that he's able to play and everything else. But it's a reminder that he's skilled. He's very skilled. Even last night, watching him on the mic, But I wish I could keep up with everything Jericho does, because it was funny too. I was at my folks just recently there, and I found a bunch of posters. And I found the original poster, not in the greatest shape in the world. I got to see if I can do something about that. But it's one of his original WWF posters that he had signed for me. So I got to see if I can salvage that in some kind of way. Otherwise, it'll just be up in my rec room someday. Just behind the scenes of all the pictures and posters and everything else I've got going on. But anyways, yeah, Winnipeggers episode 46 up right now on YouTube. Impact on Access TV results. I got to go through this. I got to go through this specifically as a Canadian because of the fact there is a lot of fans up here in Canada that love and support this one guy named Josh Alexander. And for the longest time, everybody has see, I'm excited enough, I can't even talk, but everybody has known how talented this guy is. You see him on national television with Ethan Page as the North. You see him in tag team. He's gifted when it comes to tag teams as well. But when you see him here in Ontario, Canada, you think of Destiny Wrestling and you think of him as their champion. He was in that ring for Destiny when Scott D'Amore presented him with that contract. So when all of a sudden, I want to say BTI, but all of a sudden Impact Wrestling goes, we're going to do an Iron Man match. It's going to go on BTI, and then it's going to fall over to Impact Wrestling. I wasn't able to watch BTI until the very end, and then switched over to Impact Wrestling. I was able to watch the final moments, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, it's a 1-0 for Josh Alexander. TJP catches up, and I was like, oh my God, title could change hands. And the next thing you know, both guys look exhausted. The headgear's off Josh Alexander, blood coming down his face. Like I said, both men just look spent, exhausted. TJP had released, I think, a video today on Instagram or Twitter paying homage to Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 12 against Bret Hart, which was cool as well because you had American Canadian. But Josh Alexander ends up picking up the win, but that match is still being talked about a couple of days later, and Canadian fans are going nuts because you guys are finally getting to see Josh Alexander, the Josh Alexander that we know. So it was absolutely cool to see. I've got to go back and watch that full match. A lot of stuff I got to catch up on, and I'll eventually get there. But so Josh Alexander, TJP, 60-man Ironman match for the X Division title goes to sudden death overtime. Alexander hits one final divine intervention, scored the victory, and retained the X Division title by a score of 2-1. So guys, go out of your way to check that out. And BTI is free on YouTube, Impact Wrestling, Twitch, Fight Network up here in Canada, so check it out. Jake Sutton defeats Rohit Raju in a tables match. Huge size difference in that one there. I'm just going through the matches here quickly. A lot of times at 9:00 p.m., I switch over to Dark Side of the Ring because I get up here on Crave. So it's sometimes I have to do the catching up through Impact Wrestling if I can't, if I haven't gone back and watched on the PBR. Knockout Tag Team Champions Fire and Flavor defeats Jordan Grace, Rachel Ellering for the Knockout Tag Team Championships there, so they retain. Just going through the list as well. Satoshi Kojima, this is another match I want to go back and see, defeats Diener. I love Cody Diener, have since the time I got to meet him way back in like the early 2000s, so to speak. But Diener versus Satoshi Kojima probably was a dream come true there for Diener. And then Sami Callihan defeats Moose by DQ in the main event. So guys, that is all leading up into Against All Odds. The other thing that happened with if I can talk with regards to Impact Wrestling, I get excited sometimes. Steve Macklin, Steve Cutler coming to Impact Wrestling. Macklin is the former Steve Cutler in WWE and the boyfriend of Knockouts champion Deonna Purrazzo. So it was a promo for him. So he's coming in there. Big bunch of matches have been put out there as far as taking place at Against All Odds. And this is on, when is Against All Odds again? June 12th, next weekend. This is going to be a busy next weekend. Holy crap, this is my weekend off. So next weekend's going to be a jungle. Holy crap. Like I got my folders on Google Chrome here, and I've got one folder called Upcoming. So I've got a list of all the events that take place, and we got UFC Fight Night taking place tonight, NWA tomorrow, NJPW Dominion at Osaka-Jo Hall on Monday, Bellator 260 taking place, Impact Wrestling Against All Odds taking place, UFC 263 taking place as well next weekend. Holy crap, guys. And then NXT NXT In Your House 2021 taking place as well. And then the following weekend, we get WB Hell in a Cell. Holy crap. Next weekend's going to be busy. I can't see a lot of recap shows coming out of me next weekend, but I'll definitely do the preview shows here. But with regards to Against All Odds, matches have been announced officially. Rich Swann and W. Morrissey. Impact Tag Team Championships. We got... I didn't see this. This is interesting. So Impact Tag Team Championships, Crazy Steve and Black Taurus of Decay going up against Rhino and Diener. And the article says Rhino and Joe Doring may have been the ones to dethrone Finjuice as the Impact World Tag Team Champions. But Eric Young has now allowed Diener to fight alongside the War Machine for VBD's title defense against Decay. I don't like that. Don't get me wrong. I love seeing Diener on pay-per-view, whatever the fact is. But I get a feeling he's got to get his butt whipped. I get a feeling Diener might be the one to take the fall on this one here. It's, maybe they're looking to turn him face again. Who knows? It'll be interesting. Oh, and I almost skipped the article. I thought that was the end of it, but it's not. Knockouts Tag Team Championship taking place. We got Fire and Flava defending against Kimberly as well as Susan. And then this is going to be huge as well. And I saw this on Impact. Against all odds, number one contenders X Division match. And this, like I said, takes place next Saturday. But P.D. Williams, Trey Miguel, Austin Idol, Chris Bay, and Rohit Raju, number one contenders X Division match there taking place. So, yeah, that is the update for Against All Odds taking place next Saturday. Again, I will be doing a prediction show next week sometime, but I'm going to look at the schedule. And like I said, it's going to be a busy weekend there. Big news as well, and even bigger news is this. And just give me a second. I'm just going to bring up the article here. So, Impact Wrestling announces welcomes back fans at Slammiversary. July 17th, it's taking place Skyway Studios, Nashville, Tennessee. The bigger news is it's sold out. So, for the first time this coming July, in a matter of, I think, 18 months or whatever it's going to be, Impact Wrestling is actually going to have fans again for pay-per-view. They're in Nashville, and it's already sold out, which is absolutely cool there. Speaking of NXT to resume touring this July in Florida, this was courtesy of F4WOnline.com. So just going to bring up the article here. And guys, if you're hearing my mouse, it's because I've got the new setup here. The table's wood, and then this microphone, as much as I love the Blue Yeti, always picks up noise. So you can hear the mouse. It's I've got to figure it out. But anyways, NXT resumed touring, and this comes courtesy of Dave Meltzer, Wrestling Observer. He added the belief his talent will be asked to get vaccinated is something mandatory because they're going to be running in some real heavy wing markets. And the feeling is with the fan base, they wouldn't be able to enforce mass ordinance. The Coconut Loop is made up of small venues in central and northern Florida that seat up to 400 people, like Daytona Beach, Sebring, Cocoa, Sanford, Lakeland, and Largo. Those shows were mostly made up of talent that hasn't made it to TV and are new to the system. So that could be going back to the Evolve involvement, so to speak, that they were talking about a couple months ago there. What else we got here? Impact Wrestling announces limited capacity sellout for Slammiversary that I just talked about. Chris Jericho no longer under a New Japan contract, open to return. So apparently when he performed his match, I think it was, I don't know if it was Naito or it was Tanahashi. I'm just going to bring up the article here. I think it was, I want to say Naito. No longer under New Japan Wrestling contract, according to Meltzer. AEW's star deal actually expired following his clash with Hiroshi Tanahashi at the second night of Wrestle Kingdom 14, January 2020. Obviously, a lot's changed with New Japan Pro Wrestling, but they're saying New Japan still has to get their finances in order for Jericho to be re-signed by the company, because apparently it was a big contract. A lot of guys disgruntled about Jericho getting that much money, but for what he did for New Japan Pro Wrestling is absolutely amazing. I'd love to see him back. I'd love to see him fight guys like Ospreay, Switchblade Jay White. Him against Kota Ibushi would be cool as well. Put him and Omega back there just for like a one night only type thing. That would be cool as well. Speaking of cool, it's a girl. Lacey Evans reveals the gender of her baby. So another baby girl on the way. I got 3 daughters. So girls are ruling the world lately. But congratulations to her. That was announced on the 4th, WWE.com. Independent TV sues GCW for breach of contract. That was released on the 4th as well. You go from the good to the bad. And it's interesting because there's always two sides to the story. And like I said, this comes out June 4th. Independent Wrestling TV is suing Game Changer Wrestling for breach of contract, claiming an estimated $500,000 in revenue loss. Filed in Pennsylvania court, the Wilkes-Barre IWTV claims that they entered into exclusive contract with Haydenfield, New Jersey-based GCW in March 2020 for filming, producing, digitally distributing their pay-per-view content. They allege that GCW broke the contract in December 2020 by informing them they were going to stream their pay-per-views through another platform, Fight.tv. They're suing for over excess of $500,000 based on the fact that GCW's shows, if they're to total them all up since they left in December 2020, that is basically what they would have assumed is $500,000. That's $500,000, man. I don't know if they've made that much, but I guess you always shoot high, right? But it'll be interesting to see what happens. Both sides obviously have their stories, and it'll be interesting to see what comes out of it. Vice TV to air 2-hour documentary on Joanie Laurer this month, so that was released on the 4th as well. I believe I have the article here, and yep, I do. Just give me a sec. So, Vice TV will continue in their wrestling-themed documentaries with the announcement of a Joanie Laurer feature to air later this month. Documentary is not part of Dark Side of the Ring, but it profiles Chyna, former WB star that died in April 2016 at the age of 46. 2-hour documentary is directed by Mara Strauss and will feature interviews with Lauer's mother, Jan LeCue, her sister Kathy Hamilton, as well as Sean Waltman, Mick Foley, Billy Gunn, and Vince Russo. Documentary premieres on Vice TV on Thursday, June 17th. So just about, what are we at today? We're at the 5th, so 12 days away at 9 p.m. in the same time slot as Dark Side of the Ring, which concludes this coming week there. I'll get more into that just in a moment there. But guys, check that out. And something else to check out as well. So 365 Pro Wrestling used to be PWA here in Canada, and they changed their name, and now they're doing dual shows, so to speak, when they can again. So here in Ontario as well as BC, put up a match. I think it was something to do in Japan there. I'm not sure which promotion. I haven't watched it yet. But it's Chyna back in the day, so December 2002, taking on Masahiro Chono, and it's unique because Chyna's not wearing the regular black, attire that she used to wear. She's got the blonde hair going on and the kind of the lighter attire going on, but going up against Masahiro Chono, I'd never seen that match, didn't even know existed. So guys, check that up on YouTube. But like I said, 365 Pro Wrestling put it out there. From last night, the EST at WB is looking to put an end to Bailey's laughter. WB Hell in a Cell 2021 taking place June 20th, so that'll be a match there. Andrade El Idolo appears on Friday Night Dynamite with Vicky Guerrero. I'll get more into that momentarily there, but that was huge news as well. Full match, The Outsiders taking on Roddy Piper and Ric Flair, WCW Tag Team Championship on the line from the Great American Bash 1997, courtesy of WWE's YouTube. I believe it's up on WWE.com, but I always see everything through YouTube there. And 50 iconic tag team moves in sports entertainment history. You can check that out YouTube as well for the WWE. We got upcoming schedule for the week, which I find relevant and important. NWA When Our Shadows Fall 2021 tomorrow at 4 p.m. on Fight. CWN predicts we'll do an edition for that. It's going to be a premiere sometime tomorrow, 1 or 2 p.m. I'm thinking 2 p.m., 2 hours before the pay-per-view, because it only usually goes about 15-20 minutes, but look for that tomorrow. Biography, Bret, him, and Hart tomorrow as well, 8 o'clock p.m. on A&E. That is it for that series, so there's no more biography that has been filmed, I don't believe. WB's Most Wanted Treasures, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, Greg the Hammer Valentine tomorrow as well. That'll be 10 p.m. on A&E. That should be fun. One of the first tag teams I ever get to see in my life live down in Connecticut was the Dream Team. So it'll be interesting to watch that tomorrow night. New Japan Dominion in Osaka-Jo Hall 2021, taking place Monday, 5 a.m. New Japan World. And I put C article because I wanted to make relevance of this here. Now I got to find the article. So here we go, looking for the Favicon. Where are you? I know I had it. Oh, I'm arguing with myself on the air. Oh no, I put it back in. Sorry, Epiphany. If you ever see the series House, you always watch him having epiphanies. Well, I realized it was in the other folder. That's why I couldn't find it. But this was originally supposed to be tomorrow, but they had to move it to Monday based on the outbreak there in Japan. But main event, guys, IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match. You got Kazuchika Okada taking on Shingo Takagi. Winner takes that vacant championship there. So that's going to be absolutely huge. New Japan Pro Wrestling World. That's going to be on Monday morning at 5 a.m. You've also got Kota Ibushi taking on Jeff Cobb. You've got El Desperado defending the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship against Yo Roppongi 3K. You've also got Dookie, Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi taking on Tetsuya Naito, Sanada, and Bushi of LIJ. And then in the opening match there, El Phantasmo, Taiji Ishimori, Chase Owens, Yujiro Takahashi, and Evil, I love saying Evil, of Bullet Club taking on Sho. Yoshihashi, Tomohiro Ishii, Hiroki Goto, and Hiroshi Tanahashi there. So huge card coming up for Monday, but Okada taking on Shingo Takagi for that vacant championship there is going to be absolutely insane. From there, WB Raw this coming Monday, McIntyre, Bobby Lashley set for championship contract signing for Hell in the Cell. Alexa Bliss welcomes Shayna Baszler to Alexa's Playground. I never thought those two would ever be in a program, but they are. And then 5 teams set to collide for high-stakes tag team battle royal. So RK Bro, the New Day, the Viking Raiders, I almost said Warriors, Where are we here? Lucha House Party and Mason T-Bar set in that battle royal. Winners become number one contenders for the Raw Tag Team Championships. And then from there, Dark Side of the Ring Season 3, Episode 7, the mid-season finale, so to speak, features the Dynamite Kid this week. So that's Thursday, June 10th, 9 p.m. on Crave. So pretty cool as far as being a Canadian wrestling fan goes, because you get to see Dynamite Kid in Dark Side of the Ring, and then tomorrow, biography, Bret the Hitman Hart taking place as well. So guys, look for that. Highlights of the week are this. SmackDown, this was last night. Roman Reigns promo begins the show. The Mysterios defeat the Usos, and still Caleb Braxton, Seth Rollins backstage interview took place. Carmella defeats Liv Morgan. Bianca Belair, Bayley in ring satellite promo. So when I say that, Bianca was in the ring, Bayley was there by satellite, and the next thing you know, the whole Thunderdome fills up with Bayley's creepy face laughing. And man, even my wife commented on it. She goes, "What is that?" King Corbin defeats Shinsuke Nakamura. That's still continuing there. Nakamura still has that crown. Which makes me want to see WWE do King of the Ring pay-per-view once again. I'd mark out for that. Paulo Cruz defeats Kevin Owens to retain the Intercontinental Championship. What's his name? The big, tall, giant dude there. I forget his new name. Daba Kato is what I want to call him. But Aziz, I think, is it Master Aziz or something like that? But anyways, Daba Kato took out Owens before the match. Owens still came down to the ring, but he ended up getting pinned. And then the Mysterios once again defeat the Usos because Roman Reigns had a little, fit, so to speak. I was going to put another word in front of that. I was like, no, not on my podcast. But George McKay is going to be swearing in the promo coming up anyway, so I might as well have just said it. But anyways, they got a second match out of it because they went and they complained to Adam Pearce as well, Sonya Deville. Referee made a mistake in the opening match, and then is opposed to the Usos getting beat once again. Roman Reigns comes down to the ring, beats up the Mysterios, and that's the way the show ends. And Jimmy and Jay are at each other, and Roman Reigns is kind of there. And anyway, the storyline's continuing there on SmackDown. 205 Live, Aries Sterling defeats Sunil Singh. August Gray defeats Ariya Daivari. Friday night Dynamite last night. I almost went to bed. I was tired. I'd been up since like 6 a.m. yesterday, and my wife was tired as well. So I was like, oh, you know what? Well, she's tired. I just might as well continue watching TV. So I didn't think I was going to make it all the way through Dynamite, but I did, and it was a pretty good show. So opening match, Young Bucks defeats Pac and Penta El Zero. Muerto, Tony Schiavone, Mark Henry in the ring, interrupted by Vicky Guerrero, who brings out the one and only Andrade El Idolo. And if I was not going to make it through this show, I got goosebumps talking about it right now. I was like, oh my God, it's Andrade. And my wife's like, kind of like, what? I said, this is a big deal for AEW. She's like, oh, okay. So yeah, Andre El Idolo comes out into the ring, cuts a promo, very sharp promo, very sharply dressed. And it's going to be interesting to see Aleister Black, Zelina Vega, Taya Trinidad, Charlotte. I'm going to go into this here because I didn't talk about it, but there's a photo that's online, and Andrade had made some comments with regards to Charlotte. He's standing right next to her. His hand is on her stomach, and there's a lot of pregnancy rumors taking place once again. But you think about it, you've got 3 of those people released now from the WB, and Charlotte, if she becomes pregnant, will not be wrestling. You know what I mean? It's what a different path. So Andrade can focus on his career there in AEW. It'd be interesting to see. I don't know how much more Charlotte has with regards to her contract there in the WWE, but then all of a sudden now you got Zelina Vega, Taya Trinidad, free agent, and then you've got Andrade, who just showed up on AEW, and then Aleister Black, Tommy End, who is now recently released from the WWE. It's going to be interesting, and AEW is going to be all over top of it. Exciting as a wrestling fan, I tell you that. From there, we go QT Marshall, Anthony Ogogo. I'm loving Ogogo. I just hope he can continue it because obviously he's got issues with regards to that left eye of his. But the factory, the way they're looking right now is absolutely phenomenal. But they beat Cody Rhodes and Lee Johnson. Ogogo knocked out Rhodes, and QT Marshall picked up the pin, and it was cool to see. I'm liking the feud between these guys here. Inner Circle Stadium Stampede victory lap took place. So them in the ring celebrating. Santana Ortiz looking mean. Jake Hager gets on the mic and challenges Wardlow to an MMA fight on AEW in 2 weeks, which would be cool. Sammy's out there just basically just brushing the fame off his shoulder, talking about the 6:30 he performed at the pay-per-view. And then Jericho said, I can't be done with this until basically MJF is done himself. So it's going to be interesting to see what they set up. And Jericho, just being the consummate professional and great on the mic, it's going to be awesome to see him continue that feud with MJF. And I'm like talking to my wife, she's falling asleep at this point. I'm like, you got to see MJF, and she's like, what? And so we went to. I've gone to a lot of independent shows, but she only went to one, and it happened to be Smash Wrestling here in London against CZW, the stateside anyway. But MJF was taking on Diener in that event that we get to see. So she actually got to see MJF, and I was like, do you remember who he was? And she's like, no. So I showed him a picture. I said the scarf, and she goes, oh, that's the guy who was chewing the gum and looks like a horse. So that's my wife's comments about MJF there. From there we go. Kenny Omega, Don Callis backstage. The Jungle Boy, Christian Cage defeat Private Party. Cage gets attacked post-match by Hardy, who lays him out. A lot of memories coming back there. Shivani, Sting, Darby Allin, in-ring promo. Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky interrupt on the big screen. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD Championship celebration, about to celebrate with hamburgers. And who is it? Nyla Rose. I almost said Nia Jax, but Nyla Rose interfered and had a little bit of a fit there. And so Dr. Britt didn't officially get to celebrate the way she wanted to. Alex Marvez, Eddie Kingston, Pac, Penta El Zero Muerto backstage promo. And Eddie released the line, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, so to speak. So it'd be interesting. It's still tension between them, but it'd be interesting to see there. I think they signed a 6-man tag team match actually for next week. So it's going to be interesting to see if there's tension in the match for next week. Red Velvet, who needs more training. Just about killed herself, and she's in the ring with Ali, the bunny, but she did the Lita type of dive to the outside, and man, she got lucky, I tell you that. But she needs more training if she's going to be doing moves like that. But she defeated the bunny. Miro backstage promo announces that he's fighting Evil Uno next week for the TNT Championship. Hence the fact I'm rocking, if you could see, the SSB shirt. I got to meet Stu Grayson, but I never got to meet Evil Uno yet. So that's on the bucket list there. And then Dustin Rhodes defeats Nick Comoroto, bull rope match. And that was the main event there. And AEW next week as well, Friday, June 11th, 10 p.m. And then I believe they announced at the end of June they're doing a Saturday night event. So that's remnants of Saturday night's main event, just AEW there. But next week will be Friday as well at 10 p.m. For AEW Friday Night Dynamite. And then New Japan Strong this week, Road to Ignite 2021. TJP pulling a lot of heavy duty this week, defeating Kevin Knight. Barrett Brown defeats Adrian Quest, and then Carl Fredericks and Satoshi Kojima, somebody else pulling some double duty, defeats Team Filthy, which was JR Kratos as well as Danny Limelight there. Ratings this week, ratings are all over the place because, and when I say all over the place, I mean I don't have them the way I used to, simply because of the fact Showbuzz Daily is down, so I have to pick up off the websites once again. PW Torch is one of the best for it, and then they kind of filter down to F4W and Slam Wrestling, Post Wrestling, even Fightful, But Raw this week, 1,557,000.40 in the demo, that equal to 565,000 viewers. And Memorial Day show, but that was one of the lowest shows in the history of Monday Night Raw. It was a holiday show, but still, not looking good. And then before we go into independent wrestling news, MMA Pro Boxing, it is kind of big this week, and for two reasons. Number one, UFC Fight Night takes place tonight. Rozenstruik taking on Sakai, UFC Apex, Las Vegas, Nevada, main card 7:00 p.m. TSN 2. If you go to the website, it says TSN 5. I checked. It is not on TSN 5. So if you're looking for UFC tonight, TSN 2. Main event has Jazino, Biggie Boy, Rozenstruik, taking on number 9. So he's number 6, taking on number 9, Augusto Sakai in a UFC heavyweight belt. And then the prelims at 5:00 tonight, TSN 2 as well, featuring Tanner, the Bulldozer Bozer, Canadian guy out of Edmonton, fighting Ilir, the Sledgehammer Latifi. I want to say I pronounced that right. And a UFC heavyweight bout as well tonight. So that is for free. If you want to see some MMA boxing and you want to pay for it tomorrow, there's a show on tomorrow night, 8:00 p.m. The main card takes place $49.99 on Showtime pay-per-view as well as Sportsnet pay-per-view. What I'm talking about is the one and only Floyd Mayweather, 44 years old, 50-0 in his career, 27 KOs. So more than half of those, matches, so to speak, won by knockout, taking on the one and only Logan Paul. Yes, WrestleMania's own Logan Paul, 26 years old. He is 0-1. He lost to KSI in November 2019, but it's scheduled for a contracted exhibition, 8 rounds. Like I said, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock p.m., main card takes place, Hard Rock Stadium, Miami Gardens, Florida, and then $49.99 on Showtime pay-per-view as well as Sportsnet pay-per-view. So it's $50 here in Canada as well. And then to follow up, Logan Paul vows victory against Floyd Mayweather. That took place earlier this morning. A little bit of an interview on YouTube featuring Matt Camp and Caleb Braxton of WB's The Bump, speaking with Logan Paul about the fight itself. So, guys, check that out there. Huge weekend as far as boxing, MMA goes. And then we go into next weekend with regards to a lot of heavy wrestling, NWA taking place. So a lot going on this week. I wish I could say there's a lot going on for Canadian independent wrestling, but not yet. It's the calm before the storm. And one of my favorites out there, Tarek, had put it best. And he was like, man, he expects when indie wrestling is back that it's basically full houses and people going nuts. And that's my plan. I tell you that. But guys, as always, I'm going to take a break right now, get into some Canadian independent wrestling talk after the break. So check out this promo, courtesy of the one and only George Mackay, who celebrated episode number 200 this week. So I've been playing this promo. I love this promo. I'll probably play it a couple times more and then put it to rest. But it's called Off Season by the one and only George Mackay. So check it out, guys.
You ever been underestimated? I have. You ever been ghosted? I have. You ever look and wonder how come it's not working? I have. Doubt, anxiety, stress. It's a motherfucker. But then you sit down and you have a conversation, life-changing. The fire reignites. It starts all over again. The fuel, the hunger, the passion, the drive. I got it all. Me? I'll sleep when I'm dead. This is everything. This is what I want. No more waiting, no more asking, no more hoping. Kick the door in. Make them see you. Make them recognize. So when it comes to me, I'm going to show you, whether you want to see it or not. So go ahead. Underestimate me. Doubt me. Hate me. I'm never going to stop. Here, there is no off season. I never heard of it. And when it comes down to me, when all the smoke clears and I'm standing at the top, looking down at what I built, that's when I stop. Soak it in for a minute, but then realize there's 50,000 more right behind me. Go ahead. Underestimate me. I live for that shit.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Obviously, hashtag we are CIW. CanadianIndependentWrestling.ca is the website to go to that forwards you to the Facebook group. I was noticing during that promo, thank you very much to George, by the way, but the little Wi-Fi symbol came up as far as StreamYard goes. So I'm like, here I am. I could literally reach out to the router / modem if I had like another foot on my arm, and but I'm hardwired as well, so I get the connection going from the laptop into the router. Like I said, probably maybe 6 feet away, but I saw that little Wi-Fi symbol come up with regards to StreamYard, and I'm like, oh no, not again. And I've only ever had that once before. I think it was on St. Patty's Day last time it happened, but check all my settings, hardwired. I've got a new router installed by Rogers about 3 weeks ago. So StreamYard, man, get your act together and quit messing with people's shows, okay? I'm going to switch from StreamYard to something else if it keeps up. But anyways, it's just a little pet peeve when I know I've got all the settings in place and I'm still seeing something on the other end by, a website that's supposed to be trusted. I've never, ever been tremendously happy with StreamYard. But I feel I'm going to go on a bit of a rant. But I mean, I'm paying for a service. It should be as great as they promote it to be. But anyways, I'm gonna have to go back and watch the going into the Canadian Independent Wrestling segment, because I feel like it's going to be a little bit muffled when I go back to watch it on YouTube. So anyways, that's my little rant. But like I said, hashtag we are CIW, CanadianIndependentWrestling.ca is the website. Forward you to the group. Check it out and promote. We're over 460 strong right now. If you've got a gimmick, promotion, website, podcast, whatever the case may be, get on there, promote, keep it clean, but just make sure you promote the heck out of yourself there. From there, guys, I'm going to go into this as I have been the past couple weeks there, and it's Steven's Hearts for Chiari Malformation. Website there is up on the screen, but I'm going to go into even more further detail here. So website for anybody listening on audio, fundraise.sickkidsfoundation.com/Stevens Hearts is the way to get to it there. I'm just going to bring up the website. I'm not going to share screen yet. I will do it at the end of the show just to show you guys why. But he's officially raised $5,600 of a $25,000 initial goal, going all the way up to $50,000 as his grand total is what he wants to do. But Steven Spice, Steven's Wrestling Journey, SWJ, Steven's 3. He's got a lot of them out there. Is a 9-year-old boy fighting Chiari Malformation. 2 surgeries I think he's officially had for that. He's had other surgeries as well for his throat. But I created the hashtag, what's known as Steven Strong. So you'll see at the very end of the show, when you see that closing graphic, you'll see the logo itself on what's light blue. And the reason for the light blue is because Steven's favorite color is blue. And when I asked him to choose a t-shirt, which I'll get to at the end of the show, he said light blue over the navy blue. So you'll see. But hashtag Steven Strong. But more importantly, with regards to CWN is this here. And I'm just going to bring up the article. Courtesy of CWNonline.ca. I say that because I joke around with my wife as well. I was like, I guess we can just go to CWNonline.ca to find out the information. But you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to screen share here, and I'll go further with regards to the shirt now. So let me see. Where am I? Do this. You guys, listen, I'm audio. I'm just I'm shutting things down and opening things up. So share screen. I don't do this as often as I used to. Where am I here? So I can get rid of some of these banners just for the time being, and then go full out. So there, guys, you can see it there. But that is CWNonline.ca. That is the official article there. So CWN supports hashtag Steven Strong for the month of June. And this came out on the 1st. So for the month of June, not only can you properly represent our proud nation of Canada Day, you can also support and donate to Steven's Hearts for Chiari Malformation. Steven Spice has a goal of raising money for Sick Kids Foundation. And in the month of June, 100% of the profits made on every t-shirt will go to Steven's Hearts for Chiari Malformation. Every Canuck Proud t-shirt and every Steven Strong t-shirt sold in the month of June will go a long way. And I said, support Steven, represent Canada, and purchase a t-shirt from our store in Pro Wrestling Tees. So it's prowrestlingtees.com/CWN online. And then you can donate directly to Steven's Heart for Chiari Malformation. And that is fundraise.sickkidsfoundation.com/Steven's Hearts. So guys, make sure you check that out there. As you can see there in the screen, you can see the article there. I'm just going to scroll up here so you can see the actual t-shirts themselves. I'm double checking as I go back and forth here, but those are the actual 4 shirts that are up. Like I said, at 100% of the profits in the entire month of June go to Steven, so he can put that towards his fundraiser there. But there's 3 Canuck Proud shirts just in time for Canada Day. You got the white shirt there with regards to the red writing. You've got the black shirt with the red and the white on top of it, and you've got the red shirt, which is my personal favorite on top. Beyond Steven's, but my personal favorite as far as Canuck Proud shirts go. You got the white on the red, and then Steven Strong. I'm going to bring this up. I'm going to show you guys a little bit closer here. I'm going to bring up Pro Wrestling Tees. I might have to share screen. Yeah, I'm going to have to share the screen again. But I'll show it to you guys now just while I'm doing this. So bear with me a sec. I got to stop the one screen. There I am. Hi. And then share the other one. So hold on a second. Share screen, Chrome tab, and that should be right. Hey, there we go. So you can see that's ProWrestlingTees.com there. That's our part of Pro Wrestling Tees. So CWN Online is the way to get to it. But there's all four shirts there. So $19.99 US. Look for sales as well. I'm not saying to buy the shirt during a sale, but you can. The money's still all going to go towards Steven. I'm still new to Pro Wrestling Tees, but I think when it comes down to it, I think Pro Wrestling Tees are the one who takes a hit. So if you ever have a sale like 20% off, I'm pretty sure they take that away from their cut. I think we still profit as creators, so to speak. But in this case, like I said, 100% of the proceeds all going towards Steven Spice for his fundraiser there. But I'm just going to click on his t-shirt that I created here. I'll show you guys the logo just a little bit more in depth. But that is the baby blue shirt that we decided to do for him, and then the logo that goes along with it. And there's two pictures here, so I'll bring up the picture here. I'm just going to make sure. So yeah, guys, you can see it on the screen there. But that is the official t-shirt that I've created anyways for hashtag Steven Strong. Purple is representative of Chiari Malformation, hence the ribbon that's beside it. And then the hashtag Steven Strong is the hashtag I created to go along with Steven Spice for anything that I have to do to raising social media awareness in general, raising money for him to help him out. And he's a huge part of the Canadian Wrestling Network. I tell you that much. He's always tagging the group, myself in posts and stuff like that. I make sure to repost. But $19.99, the month of June, those plus the Canuck Proud shirts, all funds raised, every single penny going towards Steven Spice to raise money. So guys, support. He is a 9-year-old kid battling something that we've probably will never go through ourselves, and he's adorable as well. He's a personality that's absolutely amazing. He's been on the bump. I haven't been on the bump, but he's been on the bump. He's some of the greatest interviews in the world. He's landed. He's a good one with Tyson Kidd, TJ Wilson. Another good one with regards to Kevin Owens. So guys, support him. Fundraise.sickkidsfoundation.com/Stevens Hearts. And like I said, the hashtag is Steven Strong for him. And like I said, go to ProWrestlingTees.com, and I'll put that up on the screen there for you. CWN's now on Pro Wrestling Tees, but ProWrestlingTees.com/CWN online, and 100% of the profits go to him this month. So guys, support him and help represent Canada as well, because I'm pretty proud of the Canucks Proud shirts that I've created there. So from there, guys, we go into other Ontario independent wrestling news, which we honestly don't have right now because there's nothing really going on. And when I say Ontario based, that's where I am, but it's also Canadian based as well. But I always do talk about some of the YouTube stuff that's taken place, not as much as I used to, but I'll still go through some of it that was interesting to me. So the Duke You Suck, I just love saying the Duke You Suck podcast, episode 16, talking residential schools with Wavel Star and Sekwon Hannah Ku. I want to say I pronounced her name right. That took place on the 3rd, so check that out, YouTube, as well as CWNonline.ca for all of this stuff as well. The Blackballed podcast, episode number 41, with Pretty Ricky Wilde. Featured Pinky Sanchez, Jake Jones, and Bolo Fung. What a name. But that was on the 3rd as well. Vidcast 55 celebrating 200 by the one and only George Mackay, Straight Talk Wrestling. Guys, check that out. Haven't watched it yet, but I will. Steven's Wrestling Journey, so SWJ. We've got Steve's 3 with AEW superstar QT Marshall. That was an interview that Steven put out there on the 4th. How to call in pro wrestling. So that's interesting there. I think it's about a 9-minute segment by the one and only Tyson Dukes, but he talks about calling a match, and he's there with his son Ethan Dukes. So it's another one of those things that's on the list to watch. Spotlight with the Golden Gun Mark Wheeler was yesterday. Super Kicked Pro Wrestling there, based in, I think, Mississauga. I know it's Toronto area. NEW Evolved on Rogers TV, episode 102. Lock and Bulldog title tournament first round, Marsh and Maxwell. That was on the 4th, so yesterday as well. And then today, just before the show, I saw Into the Lair, episode 23, the Sultan taking on JJ Jester, Triple J. That was on the 5th, so today. As well, guys, as I always say, check out CWNonline.ca. Mainly, when I talk about independent wrestling, is the one and only Slugging with Stephen O'Neill. So Stephen O'Neill, contributor to this website, and he's a I want to say a good human being, but he's got poor taste when it comes to wrestling. I tell you that much there. And he used to crap on AEW too much. So, but he's doing good things for CWNonline.ca. And like I said, slugging with Stephen O'Neill. Check it out. This past Tuesday, he had an interview there with Jocks Sampson, another cool name, Jocks Sampson, and that was on the first. But as part of the Slugging with Stephen O'Neill series that he's done. Man, and he's got quite a few interviews up there as well, and with quite a few names that are very, very cool, and some names that kind of I didn't even know about or didn't really, kind of realize they were still wrestling out there. But definitely check it out. Slugging with Stephen O'Neill, CWNonline.ca. He's got his own little section there with regards to everything he's done. You can check out his profile, and it's like I say, he's got poor wrestling taste sometimes, but it is what it is. God. Take a small break. And the other thing too, I noticed when I'm looking at the clock, I've been going over an hour lately. And when I put the show together, I was like, okay, this is not going to be that long. And the next thing you know, it's like, holy crap, I've gone over an hour again. And I entertain myself, I tell you that much. And it's my wife laughs at me, but whatever the case. Anyways, you see on the screen there, guys, Canadian Wrestling Network, the website address, CanadianWrestlingNetwork.ca. And we are quite a few members proud. Social media keeps climbing. And my headset's going nuts. Sounds like I get. Hopefully, it's not doing it in the recording. It sounds like it goes up in volume, down in volume, but it might just be me. I got a fan beside me as well, so maybe that's throwing me off. And then I've got this wall in front of me now. But there we go. See, I'm rambling. But CanadianWrestlingNetwork.ca. Social media, you can see it there. Email network@cwnonline.ca. If you have a podcast, you have a promotion, you have a show, you're doing interviews, let me know. You can be part of the network there. But one nation, one network, connect proud. Check us out on social media. Like I said, Canadian Wrestling Network. But we're growing in numbers on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter on a regular basis. And I do my best to promote you on YouTube, on the website, and just do my best to promote anybody part of the network in general there. So guys, check that out, CanadianWrestlingNetwork.ca. As far as the show goes itself, CWN Weekly and CWN Predicts. So CWN predicts NWA When Our Shadows Fall 2021 taking place tomorrow. It'll be a premiere. I think it's going to be 2:00. I might do it at 1. Either way, it's going to be up on the website. It'll be up on YouTube as well, but it'll be a premiere on YouTube as well as Facebook. I'm going to say 2 p.m., but that's NWA When Our Shadows Fall 2021. CWN predicts for that. CWN recap. Hopefully, I can get a show out for the NWA When Our Shadows Fall 2021. That will be to be determined, though. So probably not Monday because I got to work a little bit later. It might be Tuesday, but I will try to get that show out with regards to CWN recap. If not, you will see me talk about it on the next edition of CWN Weekly, which will be CWN Weekly episode number 43, Friday, June 11th, 3 p.m. live on Facebook, Twitch, as well as YouTube. Yes, I am going back to Friday for next week at least because I checked my schedule. Friday works. Friday I'm off. So it'll be Friday. Hopefully there's no construction taking place. That construction ruined one of my interviews I had scheduled, so I'm kind of PO'd at the property management company, but it is what it is. But Friday, episode number 43, Friday, June 11th, 3 p.m. live on Facebook, Twitch, as well as YouTube. Guys, check out CWN Weekly on social media, of course, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that sort of jazz. CWN is on Pro Wrestling Tees. You saw the 4 brand new t-shirts launched. All proceeds going to Stephen's Hearts for Chiari Malformation in the month of June. I tell you that right there. As always, guys, with regards to me personally, you can check out feedback at cwnonline.ca for an email to just the general mailbox for cwnonline.ca, or me personally, Chris at cwnonline.ca. You can check that out there. Get in touch with me, share ideas, whatever the case may be, but that is the best way to get in touch with me there as far as email goes. And then with regards to me personally on social media, at Chris Maloney CWN, that is, I know for sure, Instagram and Twitter. I don't have Facebook set up for it yet. I have my own personal accounts outside of the wrestling thing. So if you find me on there, then so be it. But at Chris Maloney CWN, Instagram and Twitter for sure there, guys. I think that's it. That is it. Yeah, so look for CWN Predicts NWA When Shadows Fall 2021 taking place tomorrow. Like I said, the premiere will happen, and it's looking to be a good pay-per-view. It's they've announced the full lineup, so it's going to be interesting. And it's I think we're finally going to get to see Camille as the NWA World Women's Champion. I think she's going to beat up Serena Deeb there. But guys, check out CWN Predicts NWA When Our Shadows Fall 2021 tomorrow as the premiere, and you'll hear my thoughts on that match as well as the main event between Nick Aldis as well as the one and only Trevor Murdoch there, guys. So guys, that is it until next Friday for CWN Weekly episode number 43 taking place then. This has been CWN Weekly episode number 42. Look for the prediction show tomorrow. But as always, thank you for watching and listening, and we will talk to everybody again sometime soon.